So Microsoft's actual E3 conference is over, and here's the thing: they totally failed to capitalize on the absence of, um, of Sony essentially, and it's a shame. You know what I mean? It's exactly what I expected. It's exactly what I expected. The same shit. They didn't bring anything new. They lied again. Anyway, um, this is your host JD, and this is the Gaming Pulpit, and let's get right into it. So start off with the conference. I watched the whole hour and a half in the gym, and on my way home, and it was like the first thing I want to say. It was full of fucking indie games or whatever they're gonna do with Games Pass, whatever they're doing to fill it up. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. It starts off with all of these, you know, Game Pass games. And you have some pretty ass black bitch that jumps in there and she nicely tells you that you want to have the Game Pass and you want to be a PC gamer and you should be a PC gamer and screw the console side of Xbox Live and the Game Pass. So and I'm like, what the fuck? And then they go into a trailer for Gears of War 5 where you have the main character in some sort of schizophrenic multiple personalities thing. Like literally a whole minute of her looking into the camera and having these alternate personalities jumped out from each side of her and then go right back in the middle, and that was the fucking trailer. And then they showed a whole bunch of third-party games that we are going to get. One of the things that it was very interesting is that they are trying to reinvigorate the flight simulator. Now I know this is an actual big thing for Microsoft. This was really big. This was really big for Microsoft back in the day. I've known someone, it's for the older game community, I've known someone specifically that used to play this shit like all the time. And, for that demographic, it's good to see that they're kind of like going back to their roots of PC in general. But it's like, well, what are you going to do for the actual consoles? You know what I mean? It's becoming very clear that they do not care about the console portion. If you can't see it now, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, as at this point, I don't know what to tell you. And then they go on and they show a $200 controller. Now, I frequent the Roundtable podcast. If you don't know about it, go ahead and search that out. And they put an Xbox fan on there, and a guy says that he likes that brand because of the power and the controller. And he is the sole reason, people like him are the sole reason why you get controllers. And I know people say competition is great. You know what I mean? It keeps everybody on their toes. People were afraid about Sony kind of like fucking up. But here's the thing. Sony has understood that if they don't continue to do what they're doing, they're going to be fucked. Because PlayStation is super important to them. Just like Nintendo knows. If they deviate from what they normally do, they will screw themselves. They're not going to fuck it up. And that's the thing about it. I'm not saying that competition isn't good. It is good. It helps, innovate and things like that. But I don't know, man. I mean, they didn't give a rat's ass about the whole console. Everything is going to be on PC. You know what I mean? And on top of it, not even like the Windows Unified platform. You know what I mean? It's going to be on fucking Steam. And they want people to pick up the service on Steam and other places. And this is why they're picking up these little developers, which makes me segment into they picked up the Psychonauts developer, and they're making a small scale game. They want to put a whole bunch of filler with this service and make it seem really like it has worth essentially. And I mean, I get what they're doing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make a service um, that is not exclusive to consoles. They've given up on a whole console, era. They're done. They're totally done with that shit. Um, so after that, they talk about, and I'm gonna be out of order here. I'm gonna be out of order here. So they go from, they talk about Halo. I'm sorry, they talk about the next console. Told you their release window, and then they told you that Halo is coming, and that it's gonna be holiday 2020 next year. So okay, great, whatever. But let's talk about the Halo. We're not even going to talk about the quality of the video and what's going to happen, but there's a lot of people that were totally underwhelmed by the graphics. They were totally underwhelmed about just the direction for which the Halo series has been going. A friend of mine actually, hit me up and he's like, "What the fuck was that? Like, they need to just leave that fucking title alone." Which they also said that they released the Master Chief Collection and it's going to be in beta form. I'm like, how? The game is like the last generation old. Like, are you fucking, it's a beta? Really? Really? They just don't care anymore. They want to take a service. They want to be their own like Hulu or Netflix original content type thing where you can play it on Steam and you can play it on their actual platform. And then that's it. You know what I mean? They're not sticking with this game console stuff. They're making controllers so that you will be able to play it on these platforms, PCs and shit like that. That's what they're doing. They didn't show anything worthwhile. I mean, okay, what is it? Cyberpunk is coming out next year, and it's going to be fucking cross-gen as well. And I'm actually sad about that because they're gonna be like fucking tied down to this generation, which means that they can't spread their wings. Question shit I don't really care too much about. But anyway, the last thing I want to actually talk about is the actual console, and there are crazy parallels to Sony and what they have said. And Sony has been impeccable with their timing of information, going from announcing the next generation PlayStation all the way up to Death Stranding, and it's getting millions of views. The Death Stranding video alone blew out their E3. This E3 conference was completely bloated and unnecessarily long. There was no reason for it to be as long as it was. None at all. But anyway, they talk about the what is it? The SSD, solid state drive, and how it's going to reduce load times. I noticed that they changed their verbiage. Last year they said that they were not going to be beat in power. This year they're talking about it's the most powerful console they've ever made. So you already know that they already dismissed that shit. So I'm like, wow, they don't even give a fuck. Alright. So what it looks like to me is that AMD created a blanketed platform for these consoles. And the only thing that's going to be a definitive factor is your games. Microsoft just wants to be an alternate platform. They don't even want to be a competitor. They just want to be an alternate platform. They don't give a fuck. As long as you buy their Game Pass. And then lastly, they talked about their xCloud. Now, people say that they tested it at E3, and they said it works, but they can test. The lag is discernible. It's noticeable. They said. So take that as you will. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know in the comments what you liked or disliked about the video, and if you liked it, so would be appreciated.